I'm feeling much, much better today. I appreciate all you guys that reached out to me over the weekend expressing your concerns. My voice, obviously, still in recovery. I tried to limit my talking yesterday to give my voice a little bit of rest, which was extremely difficult to do considering how frustrating it was watching that disaster unfold yesterday in London. I am not being a New Orleans homer when I say this. Officiating determined the winner of the game yesterday between the Saints and Vikings. Did the Saints deserve to win? No. You can't rack up over 100 yards and penalties, turn over the ball twice, and expect to win in this league. But with that being said, the Saints were once again robbed by NFL officials. Those two phantom calls late in the fourth quarter, both extending the Vikings' drive, those two phantom calls absolutely determined the outcome of that game. But, for the first time this season, I do have a little bit of optimism for my Saints going forward. I thought Andy Dalton played well. The offense was in rhythm for the first time all year. With the defense that the Saints have, they don't need an offense to score 30 points a game. All they need is a quarterback to manage the game. That's it. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into this. Imagine for a second that you're running a production company. Your company produces big budget movies. Screenwriters from all over the country are constantly contacting you to pitch their ideas. It's up to you to decide which ideas you're going to back financially and which ideas you're going to pass on. What would be your thought process when determining which ideas you're going to move forward with? What would be the most important factor? You want to back films that will appeal to the widest audience, right? I mean, it makes sense. You don't want to spend millions, sometimes hundreds of millions of dollars on a movie that only appeals to a small segment of the population. You want to appeal to the masses. Take Titanic, for example. Why was Titanic so successful? It appealed to everyone. The storyline between Jack and Rose appealed to the ladies. You had the historical aspect of the film. You had an hour or so of suspense and drama when the ship was sinking. You look back at the most successful movies at the box office. Most of them have one thing in common: appeal. They appeal to a wide audience. Universal obviously didn't take this into consideration when backing the movie Bros. We briefly talked about this movie earlier this summer when the trailer was released. Now, for those of you that don't know, Bros is the first movie backed by a major studio that features a cast full of alphabeters. It is an exciting film about a podcaster who falls in love with a cucumber, but he doesn't just want to pound the cucumber. Monogamy is so passé. He wants cucumber insertion along with shovel stroking and rape fellatio. This film is full of first. And you know how much the shit fucks love some history making first. First major film with a cast representing every letter of the alphabet. First major film with an orgy scene filled with dongs wrapped in thongs. This movie had all the ingredients for box office success. Dudes browsing Grindr, sending out their woke mating calls, hoping a fresh cucumber would respond. The suspense is too much for me to handle. Will he choose the standard-sized cucumber or the super-sized cucumber? The movie provides the audience drama by following the budding relationship between two leading percussionists and the bongo band. My favorite scene is when husband and husband get into an argument over china patterns. I'm going to try to show you guys part of the trailer for the movie Bros. Hopefully, I won't get hit with a copyright strike and have to remove the clip. Take a look at this garbage and tell me if this is a movie you would pay to watch. Roll the film.
So these big movie producers came to me and said, we want you to write a rom-com about a gay couple. Something a straight guy might even like and watch with his girlfriend. Am I gonna get butt-fucked by Jason Momoa while we're both worrying about a volcano? Our friendships are different.
I have to go to a party and you're too old to be in the pool. Please leave.
Our sex lives are different.
Going into this, they claim to want to make a movie about the alphabeters that would appeal to straight men, or what the shitfucks like to call cisgender men, men who prefer peaches and cream instead of franken beans. They claim to be making a film that straight dudes would want to see with their girlfriend or their wives. Are these people out of their fucking minds? Why would I take my girlfriend to see a movie about two dudes rating each other? Even though the budget for this movie was low, Universal only spent, I think, $22 million in production, but they spent millions of dollars promoting the film. Before it was released publicly, it was being praised by movie critics. This film is legendary! I could not stop laughing. For 115 minutes, I was able to keep my woke boner. Other critics praised the film for what it represents to American culture. This film is a step forward in the rom-com genre. We no longer need boring rom-coms featuring men and women. We can now make romantic comedies about the rake pursuing the shovel. Plus, Bros is just so much fun to watch. The film right now has a rating of 91% on Rotten Tomatoes, Metacritic 77%. Just about every mainstream media outlet was heaping praise on Bros. The media did their best to convince you to spend your weekend watching the movie. Bros was endorsed by the shitfucks in Hollywood. Mariah Carey, she pleaded with her lonely male followers to go out and watch the movie. Seth Rogen, Chris Evans, they hung their rainbow flags proudly, begging their followers to support this movie. The so-called elites were begging you for your support. How did the American public respond? Remember last summer when we talked about LeBron James remaking Space Jam? You guys remember that? In its opening weekend, Space Jam 2 grossed $70 million against a budget of $150 million. It was considered a massive failure. LeBron James was criticized for not being able to draw at the box office, which should not have been surprising since the last 3 years, LeBron James hasn't drawn an audience in the NBA either. $70 million opening weekend, that was considered a flop. So, how much revenue did Bros generate this past weekend in its debut at the box office? Just take a wild guess. KC, I bet this movie grossed $100 million. No, not even close. 75 million, 50 million, 25 million? No, no, and no. KC, it had to at least gross 20 million. 15 million? 10 million? 5 million? I mean, come on. This movie was heavily promoted. It had to at least gross $5 million, right? $5 million, that is nothing. Even movies that flop, they can generate $5 million in just one state. Bros was shown at over 3,000 theaters across the country. But for some reason, they only generated $4.8 million in their opening weekend. $4.8 million. This propaganda-filled bullshit was an unmitigated disaster. Now, of course, Billy Eichner, the star of the film, he provided us with the reason that he's a huge embarrassing failure. This country's filled with homophobia. America is rejecting this movie because they're afraid of gay people. No, dude, Americans are not afraid of gay people. The vast majority of Americans could give a fuck less who you sleep with. It has never been easier and more accepted in this country to be who you are. I don't have a problem with gay men. I would imagine you guys don't either. Just because I don't promote your lifestyle doesn't mean I don't accept it. If you're attracted to dudes, be attracted to dudes. I don't give a fuck. The reason Bros flopped at the box office, 93% of the country can't relate to the movie. When you watch movies or television shows, you're going to watch something you can relate to, something that you understand. How many straight men and women can relate to Bros? You heard them say it in the trailer. Relationships between alphabeters are different than heterosexual relationships. Universal produced a movie that very few people can relate to. They produced a movie that appeals to gay Gayerson and Tran Dan instead of straight Sam and Paula Prude. Then you turn around and wonder why it was a huge embarrassing failure at the box office. According to Yahoo Entertainment, Bros is being review bombed on IMDb. This homophobia is blatant. Cisgender men are bashing the butt bongo. They said they don't enjoy watching Harry and Larry burst their berries. Like I said, homophobia is not the problem here. This is what you call marketplace rejection. The American public is telling you they don't want to see this type of content. Check this out. This was taken at a theater this past weekend. It was tweeted by Big Screen Leaks. I have seen more people at a fucking WNBA game. Hollywood, the mainstream media, they are faking their outrage right now. They're acting surprised that you did not support this movie. This further proves how out of touch these people are with people like you and me, normal people. Universal, they're going to end up losing millions of dollars on Bros, but that's not the problem. That's not the cause for their fake outrage. The shit fucks are pissed off because you refuse to allow yourself to be brainwashed. Bros was not produced for entertainment. It wasn't produced for comedy. Those aspects were used in an attempt to make the movie appealing. If the butt bongo didn't appeal to you, they hoped the comedy would. This movie was produced to brainwash you. More importantly, it was produced to brainwash the youth. But KC, Bros is rated R. Kids can't even see the movie. Yeah, fucking right. Like an R rating ever stopped kids from watching a movie. People are tired of having the alpha betters lifestyle forced onto them. They're tired of being forced into tolerance. They're tired of being forced into acceptance. Like I said, most people could give a fuck less if your bedroom is full of broken bongos. The problem for most people is when you shove your lifestyle down their throat. America did not reject the LGBT community this past weekend. America rejected Hollywood propaganda. But let me know what you think. Hollywood, the mainstream media, begged and pleaded with you to watch the movie Bros, and it completely flops at the box office. Give me your thoughts. Sound off in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe. Click the notification bell to receive all notifications from the channel. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, KC_BTL84 on Twitter. I'll see you guys later.